Imagine this. You saved for months, you packed your bags, you got your visa approved, you boarded a 14-hour flight, you landed at JFK, LAX, or Chicago O'Hare. You walked up to that CBP officer with a smile on your face. And they pulled you out of line. Not because you did anything wrong today, not because you have a criminal record, but because of something you didn't even know was sitting in your file, quietly waiting to effect your entry. And the challenging part, you had a valid visa in your hand. Here's what nobody tells you before you board that plane. A visa does not guarantee you entry into the United States. Not even close. And in 2026, with the rules becoming stricter, the stakes have never been higher. I'm LV, and this is the U.S. Guide, the channel where we don't sugarcoat the law. We break it down so it protects your life, your status, and your family's future. Today, I am going to walk you through the exact legal situations that are catching people at U.S. airports right now. People with valid visas, approved ESTAs, even green cards. And then I'm going to give you the legal guidance, the exact strategy to protect yourself before you ever set foot on that plane. Stay until the end. This video could be the most important thing you watch before your next trip to America. Now, before anybody in the comments says, "Levy, you're overstating this," let me show you exactly where this comes from. This is not my opinion. This is federal law. Under the Immigration and Nationality Act, the INA, and specifically under 8 CFR Part 235, every single person who arrives at a U.S. airport is legally classified as an applicant for admission. Let me say that again slowly. Every single person. It doesn't matter if you have a B1, B2 visa. It doesn't matter if you have an F1 student visa. It doesn't matter if you have an approved ESTA. The moment you land, you are legally requesting permission to enter. And it is a CBP officer at that booth, not the State Department that issued your visa, not USCIS, who makes the final determination on whether you walk through that door or get put on a flight back home. The State Department grants you the visa. CBP decides admission. These are two completely different decisions made by two completely different agencies. And CBP, they answer to the Department of Homeland Security. Their authority at that airport is substantial. This is the reality. Now, let's talk about where people are encountering challenges because they didn't know this. This is the #1 situation, and it is affecting people significantly right now. You have a valid visa. It hasn't expired. You got it from the U.S. Embassy. You did everything right. So, you think you're guaranteed to walk in? Not necessarily. Here is the important legal reality. A U.S. visa or an approved ESTA is only a travel document. It gives you permission to travel to the United States and request admission. That is it. The CBP officer at that port of entry can review your record, your travel history, your prior entries, your past behavior, reports filed against you, and decide right then and there that you are inadmissible. They can cancel your visa on the spot. They can put you back on a plane. And depending on how they deny you, you could be restricted from coming back for 3 years, 10 years, or permanently. So the next time someone tells you your visa is fine, don't worry. You tell them LV said that is not sufficient. This situation has quietly affected thousands of immigration cases, and almost nobody talks about it. When you enter the U.S. as a non-immigrant, a tourist, a student, a worker, you receive something called a Form I-94. It is your arrival departure record. It is issued by CBP at the airport, and it tells you exactly how long you are legally allowed to stay. That date, the I-94 date, is your real deadline, not the visa expiration date. Your visa might say it expires in 2028, but if your I-94 says you must leave by June 15th and you stay until June 20th, you just overstayed your authorization, even while your visa was technically still valid. And here's where it gets serious. Every single day beyond that I-94 date is counted as unlawful presence. Stay 180 days beyond it, and you get a 3-year restriction from re-entering the U.S. Stay 1 year beyond it, a 10-year restriction the government knows. CBP sees it the moment you walk up to that booth on your next trip, and that officer is going to ask you to explain it. Check your I-94 right now. Go to i94.cbp.gov DHS.gov and check your record. Don't assume. No. If a CBP officer ever says to you, "Please come with me to secondary inspection," I need you to take a deep breath and stay calm. Here is the misconception most people believe. Secondary inspection means I'm being denied. That is not accurate. Secondary inspection is a standard procedure CBP uses when it cannot quickly verify your records, when your documents are incomplete, or when there are flags in the system that need to be resolved. It is not a conviction. It is not a guaranteed denial. But here is where people turn a manageable situation into a challenging one. They panic. They get nervous. They change their story. They give inconsistent answers between primary and secondary. They try to be too strategic, volunteering extra information that raises more flags. When you are in secondary inspection, you answer the questions. You answer them honestly. You answer them consistently. And you do not volunteer information that was not asked. If you are traveling for tourism, say tourism. If you are visiting family, say visiting family. Have your documents, your hotel booking, your return ticket, your bank statement organized and ready. Your credibility in that room can be the difference between walking out of the airport with your family or boarding a flight back home tonight. Now, we are getting into territory that surprises most people, and I want you to hear this clearly. CBP believes it has the legal authority to search your phone and your laptop at the border without a warrant, without suspicion, without even giving you a specific reason. This is called the border search exception. The government's position is that at a port of entry, an airport, a land border, a seaport, normal Fourth Amendment protections work differently. They say national security at the border justifies broader search authority. Here is what the ACLU has to say about this, and this is critical. You can, and the ACLU says you should clearly and calmly state, "I do not consent to a search of my device." But, and I cannot stress this enough, if you are a non-citizen, a visa holder, or even a green card holder, refusing to cooperate can result in further detention, your device being seized, and potentially a denial of entry. Citizens cannot be denied entry for refusing. Non-citizens can. So, what do you do before you travel? Clean your devices. Remove apps with sensitive content. Back up and log out of messaging apps. Use a travel phone if possible. Do not carry what you cannot explain. This is not paranoia. This is 2026 travel strategy. I see this every week. A lawful permanent resident, someone with a green card returns from a trip abroad. They think they are safe. They have permanent residency, and CBP pulls them into secondary and questions their entire status. Here is the law. If you are a green card holder and CBP believes you have abandoned your U.S. residence, that you have been living abroad, that the U.S. is no longer your true home, they can question your admissibility right there at the airport. They can place you in secondary. They can send you to an immigration judge. An immigration judge can revoke your green card, and that is a challenging situation that takes years and thousands of dollars to resolve. If you have a green card and you have been outside the U.S. for extended periods, you need a re-entry permit before you travel, not after. Before, and you need to maintain your ties to America, tax returns, an address, financial accounts that prove this country is your home. All right, enough of the challenging news. Let me now give you the strategy, the actual professional level playbook that will protect you every single time you arrive at a U.S. airport. Regardless of your immigration status, the moment you are inside U.S. territory, even at the airport, you have constitutional protections. The Fourth Amendment protects you from unreasonable searches and seizures. You have the right to remain silent on questions beyond basic biographical information and your purpose of visit. You have the right to ask, "Am I being detained and why?" And if you are formally placed in removal proceedings or detained beyond the initial inspection, you have the right to contact an attorney. Ask for one clearly on the record. Every time you travel to the U.S., carry these documents organized, printed, and ready: a return or onward flight ticket, a hotel booking or letter of invitation from your host, bank statements from the last 3 months showing you can support yourself, an employment letter or proof of business ties back home. For students, your I-20, DS 2019, or other required academic forms for green card holders traveling abroad. a re-entry permit if you have been gone more than a year, and any prior I-94 records showing a clean departure history. This is your admissibility preparation. The officer at that booth is asking himself one central question. Is this person who they say they are, and will they leave when they're supposed to? Your documents answer that question before they even ask it. Rule number 1, do not provide false information ever. Rule number 2, answer the question asked, nothing more. Rule number 3, be consistent. What you said at the primary booth, say the same thing in secondary. Rule number 4, if they ask to search your device, you may calmly state, I do not consent to this search. But if you are a non-citizen, understand the consequence and make an informed decision. Rule number 5, if at any point you are told you are being formally detained or placed in proceedings, immediately ask to speak with an attorney. Do not sign any documents until you have legal counsel. Sometimes CBP cannot resolve the admissibility question right there at the airport. So they parole you into the country and give you a written notice to appear at a deferred inspection site within a specific time frame. This is not a favor. This is not them being lenient. This is a conditional entry. And if you miss that appointment or if you show up unprepared, your case can be escalated directly into formal removal proceedings before an immigration judge. Show up on time. Bring every document they requested. Bring copies of everything, and seriously bring an immigration attorney with you if you can afford one. This is the moment where legal representation pays for itself. Before your next flight to the United States, check your I-94 record online. Verify your departure was properly recorded. If there are discrepancies, an overstay showing in the system that you know was an error, a departure that was never recorded, you need to address that with CBP before you arrive, not during your inspection. Contact a qualified immigration attorney. Get a legal opinion on your admissibility before you board, because discovering a problem at the primary booth at 2:00 a.m. after a 14-hour flight with no lawyer and no documents is not the ideal time. I want you to understand something. The cases I've described today, the visa holders denied entry, the green card holders questioned at the border, the students turned away because of missing documents, these are real people. People who did not know what you now know. People who trusted that having the right visa meant having guaranteed entry. You now know better. And knowledge in immigration law is everything. Because these rules, they don't wait for you to catch up. They change fast. A new directive, a new enforcement priority, a new policy memo from DHS, and the approach at that airport booth shifts overnight. That is exactly why I need you to join our free official WhatsApp channel. The link is in the description below. This is where we send urgent 2026 immigration alerts. The moment a new CBP directive is announced, the moment courts issue a ruling that affects your rights at the border, the moment something changes that you need to know about before you fly. It is free, it is official, and it could be the difference between landing safely and being sent home. Now, here's what I need from you right now. First, hit that like button. This took serious research to put together, and it helps this video reach the people who need it most. Second, and this is important, share this video to your family WhatsApp group. Right now, you probably have family members, friends, or people you care about who are planning to travel to the US soon. They need to see this before they get on that plane. One share could save someone's visa, their status, their future. And third, hit subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss a video. Because on this channel, we don't report the news. We translate the law into your preparation strategy. I'm Elvie. This is the U.S. Guide. You now know what they didn't tell you at the embassy, what the travel agent didn't warn you about, and what could have surprised you at that airport booth. Now go prepare, travel smart, and protect your future.